Hello everyone. We're working on 10.2 again, slope. So this time we're going to be graphing using slope. So number 34 here says graph the line with the given point and slope. So before we were graphing lines with the intercepts, right? And then we also just found various points that by our choosing. And remember that you can graph a linear function with just 2 points, right? Because once you have those 2 points, it's just a straight line. So you can just connect the dots and extend through in either direction. So here we're going to be given 1 point, and then we're going to use a slope to find another point, okay? And then we can graph it from there. So number 34 says we have a line 2, 3, which means x is 2, y is 3, right? So that's a coordinate point. So I can plot that. So 2 on the x-axis and 3 on the y. That's where that point goes, right? So then with slope, 1/2, right? So remember that's rise, rise over run, okay? And I started to write there y. So remember that rise is the y, the change in y. Delta means change in. And then run is the change in x, right? All right, so we have this point right here, and I know as it goes up 1, it's going to go right 2. Remember, it's a positive slope, so so this is going to go up and to the right, okay? Positive over positive, up and right. So it's going to go up 1, 2, or excuse me, sorry, up 1, and it's going to go right 2, 1, 2. So it's going to end up being right here. And then we just draw this out. So it went up 1 over 2. And then now we can just connect the dots. So let me just trace this out here. I'll have a straight edge. Okay, so something like that. All right. So that's our line. Make sure you have arrows on the ends, right? Make sure that it goes through the points that you are plotting. It doesn't have to be totally perfect, but make sure it's pretty close. Okay. All right. So that's how you graph. So plot the point, and then you use the slope to find the next point, and then you can connect the dots. Now you could, and I kind of did this, but you can also use the slope to find as many points as you want. I kind of, if you noticed, put some little marks on these lines. You can see I'm a little bit off on my line, but you can find as many points as you want, right? And then connect the dots if that helps. So, all right, let's check out another one. All right, so here we have the point -2, 3. So -2 on the x-axis, 3 on the y. So that point's going to be right here. Okay, with slope -2. Now remember, we need rise over run. So when we have a -2 slope, we can't exactly see the run, but we know that -2 as a fraction is -2 over 1, right? So the rise is 2 and the run is 1, but it's negative. So instead of going up and right, we can go down and right. Or if you want to, you can go up and left. So you can either go down and right or up and left. That's the same thing. Okay, same. Each of those has a negative slope. So I'm gonna go down 2, 1, 2, and right 1. Or excuse me, right 1. Okay. So I went down 2 and right 1, and so now, and I can keep doing that. Down 2, right 1, as many times as I want, right? Down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. So you can see these little green dots, and then I can also go left, or up to left 1, up to left 1, and that also gets me points on the line, right? So down and right is the same slope as up and left. So I can connect these dots. All right, I'm gonna do a better job with that line. But that's all you got to do. So plot the first point, and then connect the dots. I don't know if that was any better. Let me just make this point a little bigger. There, now it goes through. All right. All right, so this one goes through, we want to draw two lines. We have one that goes through 0, 3, okay, and one that goes through 0, 0. Okay, let me use different colors. Okay, so 0, 3, when x is 0, remember what kind of, or where that ends up? That's right, on the y-axis. So 0, 3 is right there on the y-axis. Slope 1, so remember that means 1 over 1. So that means the rise is 1 and the run is 1. So up 1, right 1. And on the last slide we talked about you can go, for a negative slope, you can go down and right, or you can go up and left. For a positive slope, you can go up and right or down and left. So if I go down and left, that gets me this point, right? Down and left and so forth, okay? So if I graph this line, it's gonna look something like that, right? So I'm gonna label, since I have two lines, I'm gonna call this L1. And then, let's see, the other one is 0, 0. So, that purple there, so 0, 0 is right here, right on the origin, right? It's called the origin. And then we have a slope of 1. So, remember 1 is 1 over 1. So I can go up and right, or I can go down and left, right? Either way. So now I'm going to connect the dots. Okay. My L1 is right on the line. So this is L2. Let me redraw this. Label L1. All right. So what do you notice about those two lines? And we'll talk about this in the next lesson. But if you notice that they have the same slope, good job. And what is that? When they have the same slope, even though my lines aren't perfect, notice that they're the same distance away at every point, right? If you were to find the distance, or the same distance away at every point, and so those lines will never intersect, right? If you drew them properly. So, all right, and so when two lines have the same slope, those are called parallel lines, and we'll talk about that in the next lesson. All right, so here's another one. So here we have L1 is 1.2. So I'm going to plot that, or excuse me, not 1.2, but 1, 2. So there that one is, and then we have slope of 1 over 2, so rise over run. So I'm going to go up 1 over 2 to the right, or we could go down 1 and 2 to the left. So I'm just going to put some little dots on these just so I can trace my way back. All right. So there's that line. The next line is 1, 2, so through the same point. All right. But now a slope of -2. So -2 is -2 over 1. So that means I'm going to go down 2 and right 1. All right. And let me make sure I label L1. And then for this next one, we'll label it L2. Just get a few more points. yeah, if you have a straight edge, that'll make it a little bit easier to draw these lines. All right, so here we have the two lines, and this time the slopes are opposite reciprocals of each other. So notice how the one slope is 1/2 and the other one's -2/1. So the reciprocals and their opposites. When this happens, and we'll talk about this in the next lesson, but that means you have perpendicular lines. That means they're at right angles or 90-degree angles with each other.